Hello and welcome to Live Interactive English. She is Karen.
And he is Shane. And today we are looking at part 2 of Row Your Boat. So we are still learning about rowing your boat, right?
About boat rowing in general.
That's right. So what are some of us, like some water activities that we can think of about, related to boats?
Yeah, I know I've rowed boats before because I told you last time, but have you ever rowed a boat?
Well, I've done kayaking and canoeing.
Me too.
Does that count?
That definitely counts.
Okay.
And I've used just a kind of a rowboat when I was on a lake.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, and I've done that kind where you use your feet to...
You pedal.
You pedal.
That's
boat.
Right.
Pedal boat.
That's right. Oh, I've done that in Taiwan too. When you go to like 小碧潭.
Yes.
And then they have these like little swans, little like boats, and where you can pedal.
That's fun.
That's really fun. Oh, have you ever done paddle boarding?
Never done that. Have you?
Yes, I have. Paddle boarding, well, in Taiwan, a lot of people call it SUP, S-U-P. That's stand up paddleboard. Yes, that's right. So you have this like long board and then you have an oar and you kind of just row
yourself.
Right? Yeah.
Row your board.
And then while standing up. That's also very fun.
Wow, I've never tried that. You can do that in Taiwan, huh?
Yes, I think there are many places where you can do that.
I'm going to give that a try. Cool, so we all agree that rowing boats or even boards is fun.
That's right.
Let's find out more about row your boat.
Rowing history. An 1852 race between Harvard and Yale universities made rowing the first sporting competition between colleges in the United States. Yale was the earliest to start a student club in 1843, and clubs soon popped up in schools across the country. Taller and heavier. Contrary to what you might expect for a racing sport, taller and heavier rowers have the advantage. Extra height means longer limbs, which can result in more distance per oar stroke, while the added pounds of muscle mass translate into more power.
So we're looking at part 2 of Row Your Boat today, right?
Yes.
I guess we'll be learning more about boats.
Particularly about rowing history.
Rowing history?
Yes.
Okay, I can't wait.
An 1852 race between Harvard and Yale universities made rowing the first sporting competition between colleges in the United States. Okay, so we learned earlier that in England, these university students were racing each other in boats. But it didn't make its way into the United States until
much later.
Yeah. So Yale was the earliest to start a student club in 1843. And clubs soon popped up in schools across the country.
So are the boat clubs really popular in the universities in the United States now?
I think in maybe some of the more prestigious, like Ivy League schools, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, yes. But in just a normal college or university,
they probably don't have these boat clubs,
They
right?
won't have one of those kind of clubs. I think it would be for people who have more money.
That's true.
Right?
It probably costs a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's continue. Taller and heavier. Okay. Contrary to what you might expect for a racing sport, taller and heavier rowers have the advantage. Oh, taller and heavier. It says contrary to what you might expect. That means the opposite of what you might expect.
Because I would think, if there's more weight in a boat, it's going to be harder to make that boat go in a particular direction.
Exactly.
So that's what I would think. So I think lighter people would be better at it.
And especially when you're talking about races. Sometimes we feel, okay, if you're shorter, maybe you will be a little bit, faster, especially when you're like playing soccer, But if you are playing basketball and you are taller, of course you would have the advantage.
So I guess the point here is rowing takes a lot of strength. So the bigger you are, and if you have longer arms, it's going to be good for rowing, right?
That's right.
You'll
So
have an advantage.
Exactly, and that is a noun. Advantage is a noun. So it means the fact of being in a better position or condition, right?
Okay.
So you have somebody who is shorter and versus someone who is taller. I think the taller one would have the advantage.
Right.
And the example sentence is Claude was given an unfair advantage in life because his parents are wealthy.
So he has more opportunities, so he has a better advantage, right?
That's right.
Continuing, extra height means longer limbs, arms, legs, which can result in more distance per oar stroke, while the added pounds of muscle mass translate into more power. Okay, so you're going to have a more powerful stroke.
That's right.
So in rowing, a stroke is the action of moving the oar through the water in order to move the boat forward, to propel it forward.
That's right.
And you know, swimming, when you are doing that, that's called a stroke as well.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah. So, for example, with each stroke, Michael came closer to catching up to the swimmer ahead of him.
Ah, they're also talking about swimming.
Swimming as well, yeah.
So the next vocabulary word is translate. To translate.
I know, like, ni hao means how are you?
No,
That's
that's just translating a language. But in today's case, it just means leads to a particular result. So it says the muscle mass, translate into more power, right?
So if you have more muscle mass, that will result in having more power.
That's right,
Got it.
exactly.
Okay.
So for example, increased company profits rarely translate into lower prices for the customer.
Okay, I got it.
That's right. Okay, how about let's take a quick break and we'll come back and learn more about rowing boats.
Okay.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文有提到，英国伦敦的这个牛津剑桥赛艇对抗赛被认为是划船当作职业运动的起源。那我们就来看看，如果是在美国呢，他们则是在1852年间，哈佛跟耶鲁大学之间有一个比赛，让划船成为美国大学之间第一次的体育竞赛。耶鲁是最早在1843年成立学生社团，那么社团呢，很快就在全国各地的学校兴起。Shane 老师有聊到说，这可能是在比较有名望的一些学校里面比较盛行。老师用到 prestigious 这个字 ，prestigious，prestigious， 它是形容卓著的、有名望的。好，那课文接着提到一个跟划船有关的有趣事实，就是比较高、比较壮的赛艇运动员是具有优势的。比较高的身高呢，意味着有比较长的四肢，那这可以让每一次划桨的距离更长，而比较多的肌肉量则会转化为更多力量。好，来看到单字 advantage， 它表示优势或者是有利条件。那么 stroke 在这边是指划桨动作，那么也可以指说可能像是游泳啊，或者是划船这样一次的划水。Shane 老师在讲解时，他用到 propel 这个动词 ，propel。propel 表示推动、推进的意思。再来 translate 或是 translate， 它表示转为或是翻译的意思。那补充单字 oar， 它表示桨或者是橹。这边一个重点，我要进入文法时间。好，来看这个重点是 contrary to 加上名词，表示和什么不同，与什么相反。那么 contrary 在这边是当形容词来描述相反的、对立的，后面就常常会接 to 加名词。举例来说 ，contrary to popular belief。Eating eggs in moderation does not cause high cholesterol. 和一般看法不同的是，适量吃鸡蛋并不会造成高胆固醇。好，那解华课文中。
Full body exercise. Though it may look like an athlete's arms drive each stroke, rowing requires significant strength in the legs, stomach, chest, shoulders, and back.The motion uses more muscles than other forms of cardio, like running or cycling. In fact, a rowing machine works 85% of the body's muscles and can burn up to 800 calories per hour. Ancient concept. It's not always possible to exercise on the water, and this is where rowing machines come in. The modern version was invented in 1872, but the idea goes back 2,500 years ago to classical Greece, when soldiers practiced their technique using wooden apparatuses. These days, since rowing machines can be found at most gyms, nearly anyone can take up the sport.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were talking about that these boat clubs made its way into the United States, and a lot of universities like Harvard and Yale, they also have these boat clubs, right? And we also mentioned that if you are taller and heavier, you actually have an advantage as a rower.
Okay, well, let's move on to full body exercise. Though it may look like an athlete's arms drive each stroke, rowing requires significant strength in the legs, stomach, chest, shoulders, and back.
So it works your legs too, but I thought you don't really move your legs when you're in the boat.
I guess you're kind of pushing up against something. Maybe, yeah. I don't know, I'm not a rower. But I remember I used to have a rowing machine when I was young for exercising. It was my parents' an exercise machine, and you would do like rowing, and you had a rope that you would pull out. And I remember it's quite good exercise.
Really? And then so your legs would actually feel sore too?
Yeah, because I was pushing myself back. The motion uses more muscles than other forms of cardio like running or cycling.
Wow.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. In fact, a rowing machine works 85% of the body's muscles and can burn up to 800 calories per hour. Wow. So actually these rowing machines are really, really good if you want to get a full body workouts.
Yeah.
Okay, so it burns a lot of
calories.
That's right. And that is a noun. A calorie is a unit of measurement, but it doesn't measure weight or length. A calorie is a unit of energy.
Yeah, for like how much heat or energy is made from food, right? That's contained inside of food.
Exactly. And a lot of people who want to lose weight, maybe every day they have to think about how much calories they're taking in, right?
Right.
Okay, so for example, none for me, thanks. I'm trying to stick to low-calorie foods only. So maybe this person is also on a diet.
Yes, I always say for people, if they ask like, oh, I can't lose weight, what's the secret to losing weight? I will just say calories in, calories out. That's all you need to know. Don't have to worry about other stuff. Just don't take in too many calories and you will lose weight.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the next part of our article says ancient concept.
Okay.
It's not always possible to exercise on the water, and this is where rowing machines come in. The modern version was invented in 1872, but the idea goes back 2,500 years ago to classical Greece when soldiers practiced their technique using wooden apparatuses. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Because it is true, a lot of people might want to exercise on the water, but it's not always possible, right?
Right. It might not be convenient if there's like rough waters or maybe it's bad weather, but you still need to practice, right?
Exactly.
So it's really cool to have like a rowing machine. So wow, they were really ahead of their time.
So we have this word apparatuses. Basically, it just means object which can be used for a certain function. Examples of apparatuses include coffee makers, pencil sharpeners, and computers. These things are also often called tools, machines, or equipment.
Okay, so an apparatus could be a tool, could be a machine, could be a computer. An apparatus could be a lot of things.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a vocabulary word here, technique. So technique is a noun. So a technique is a way of doing something by using special knowledge or skill.
That's right.
So for example, we could say the tennis coach worked with Andy to improve his technique. All right, so if you're improving your technique in tennis, you're probably going to be talking about how you move the racket, right? Hitting the ball.
And usually your coach can give you a lot of tips, right, on that.
Continuing, these days, since rowing machines can be found at most gyms, nearly anyone can take up the sport.
That is true. Actually, I have tried these rowing machines in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think they're really fun.
I think it's fun, and I've always heard that before. I didn't know it was like as much as like 800 calories an hour, but I always heard that it was a real full body workout, kind of like swimming.
Yes.
So now I kind of want to get a rowing machine for my house.
And I think it's much more fun than just running on the treadmill.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we have a what do you think question. So what do you think? Have you ever watched a rowing race? Describe your experience.
Well, I watched the rowing race, the dragon boat race, in fact, but just on TV. But I think it's actually really, really exciting and fun. I don't know if you ever watched a dragon boat race before.
No, I never watched. I mean, it was on TV for a little bit, but I didn't actively watch it. But I have watched some races that are more similar to the types they were doing in those universities.
Okay.
Because I think they're Olympic sports, because right? Rowing is an Olympic sport.
That's
so
right.
I've seen that type of a race, and I thought it was a bit boring, since I didn't really understand it.
But I
guess it's not hard to understand, but I just feel like they're just rowing, and it lasts much longer than I thought it would last.
Okay, but I really think you should try watching the dragon boat race. I think it's more exciting. Did you know that there is like a drummer on the dragon boat?
I didn't.
And then all the rowers have to listen to the beat, the rhythm of the drum beat. And then they have to follow. So everyone is rowing at the same time.
Rowing to the beat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually quite fun. And there is a person at the front of the boat and trying to reach for the flag. So it doesn't take a very long time to finish the race, but I think it's really exciting.
I will definitely check it out. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us in All About Rowing Boats.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
虽然划船看起来像是用手臂在驱动每一次的划桨动作，但是它其实是一种全身运动，比跑步或是骑自行车等等其他形式的有氧运动用到更多的肌肉。那事实上呢，划船机可以锻炼身体85%的肌肉哦，每小时可以燃烧高达800卡路里的热量。单字 calorie 就表示卡路里，它是热量单位。那么 Karen 老师在讲解时，他用到 measurement， 在 measure 后面加上 ment， 变成这个名词，可以表达测量或者测量结果。那说到划船机，同学们有使用过这项器材吗？毕竟我们在水上运动并不是都可行，没有那么方便嘛。那这就是划船机派上用场的地方。而现代版的划船机是在1872年发明。这个想法其实可以追溯到2500年前的古典希腊时期，当时士兵们就是用木质的这种器械来练习技能。那么现在呢，大多数的健身房都可以找到划船机，几乎任何人都能开始从事这项运动。单字 technique 它就表示技法、技艺或者是技巧、方法，是个名词。那补充单字 apparatus 它表示器械、器具或是仪器的意思。Karen 老师提到说，他认为划船机比跑步机有趣。老师说的 treadmill， 它是拼作 treadmill，treadmill 就是跑步机。好，这边两个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 where somebody or something comes in， 是指说某人或某事物派上用场的地方。那么片语动词 come in 在这边是表达发挥作用、派上用场的意思。例如 ，We need someone to offer a different perspective, and that's where you come in. 我们需要有人提供不同的观点，这正是你派上用场的地方咯。好，那么第二个要介绍的是 take up 的不同意思。第一个呢，可以指说开始从事，像是从事某个活动啊、兴趣、工作等等。常见的用法就是 take up 加上名词或动名词。例如 ，He took up photography as a hobby when he was 17. 他17岁的时候开始把摄影当作嗜好。 第二个用法，我们可以把它解释成占据、占用，或者是花费，可能是占用时间啊、空间、花费精力等等。例如 ，His whole morning was taken up by meetings。他整个早上都被会议给占据了。那么第三个用法可以表达接受，像是接受某个提议啊、挑战等等。例如 ，I'm willing to take up the challenge。我愿意接受挑战。好，以上是今天的讲解，别走开，马上回来哦。
Rowing history. An 1852 race between Harvard and Yale universities made rowing the first sporting competition between colleges in the United States. Yale was the earliest to start a student club in 1843, and clubs soon popped up in schools across the country. Taller and heavier. Contrary to what you might expect for a racing sport, taller and heavier rowers have the advantage. Extra height means longer limbs, which can result in more distance per oar stroke, while the added pounds of muscle mass translate into more power. Full body exercise. Though it may look like an athlete's arms drive each stroke, rowing requires significant strength in the legs, stomach, chest, shoulders, and back. The motion uses more muscles than other forms of cardio, like running or cycling. In fact, a rowing machine works 85% of the body's muscles and can burn up to 800 calories per hour. Ancient concept. It's not always possible to exercise on the water, and this is where rowing machines come in. The modern version was invented in 1872, but the idea goes back 2,500 years ago to classical Greece, when soldiers practiced their technique using wooden apparatuses. These days, since rowing machines can be found at most gyms, nearly anyone can take up the sport.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Carolyn.
We're going to play a game called Guess the Bear. Each of us has 3 words or phrases on these cards. We're going to have 2 sentence examples for each one, and when I read the sentence example, I'm going to say the word bear instead, and you have 1 minute to guess all 3. Can you do it?
I hope so.
All right, so you're going to guess first. You ready? Start the timer. Number 1, this candy bar is 300 bears. It's a noun, by the way.
Okay.
Number 2, you can burn 500 bears by running for an hour.
Calories.
There you go. All right, this is a verb. Number 1, Gina bared the document from Chinese to English. Number 2, I need someone to bear for me when I visit Japan.
Translate.
There you go. All right, here's a phrase, okay? Number 1, 2 words. Jeff bared bear playing chess at a young age. Number 2, I was bored over the summer, so I bared bear knitting as a hobby.
Pick up.
Close. Oh. Very close.
What's the first one again? First sentence?
Jeff bared bear playing chess at a young age. In the number 2, I was bored over the summer, so I bared bear knitting as a hobby. It's close to what you said. The second word was right.
Take up.
There you go. Right on the timer.
Yes.
Look at you.
Yes. I got it.
All right. I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm ready for me. My
All
turn.
right. A minute on the clock for Stephen. Okay, your first word is a noun.
Okay.
Height is a great bear in basketball. Nate used his industry connections to his bear.
Benefit to his...
Very close to that. Synonym for that word.
Benefit to his... what was the first sentence again?
Height is a great bear in basketball.
Attribute, benefit...
Let's skip it for now.
Okay, skip it. Okay.
Next one is a noun, 1 word. Using this cleaning bear can make your life easier. I am taking advanced archery lessons to improve my bear.
Skills.
Close to that.
Okay.
Part of that.
Oh, go to the next one.
Okay. Phrase, 2 words. Bear, popular belief, strawberries are not actually berries.
Okay.
Bear reports the house fire was not caused by arson.
Contrary to.
Yes.
Okay,
let's go back. This is the second one, or the first one rather. Oh, not quite. Okay, so I'll go for the first one.
Okay.
Noun. Height is a great
advantage in basketball. Advantage. Okay. Nate used his industry connections to his advantage. Okay, and then the next one was technique, the noun. Using this cleaning technique can make your life easier. I am taking advanced archery lessons to improve my technique.
So I just knew the synonyms to those words.
Yes, you were so close both times.
In a parallel universe, this would have been the correct answer.
You got it. You got it. You won.
I still won.